Have you ever found yourself surrounded by people who drain your energy, make you feel guilty, or constantly bring negativity into your life? As we grow older, the people we choose to keep close have a significant impact on our well-being, and it becomes more crucial than ever to protect our peace. But how do you know which relationships are worth holding on to and which ones you need to let go of? In today's video, I'm going to reveal the 5 types of people you must avoid in your later years, even if it means distancing yourself from family. These are the people who will not only steal your energy but also undermine your happiness, peace of mind, and overall health. I'll explain how to recognize these individuals before they take a toll on your life. You need to watch this video until the end because understanding how to protect your emotional resources is key to thriving as you age. We'll explore how energy vampires, manipulators, chronic critics, negative family members, and drama creators can impact your mental and emotional well-being. Most importantly, you'll learn how to set boundaries and reclaim your peace. Trust me, you've earned it, and you deserve relationships that lift you, not drain you. Stay tuned, because these insights will help you create a life filled with positivity, joy, and fulfillment, no matter your age. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Energy vampires. As we journey through the years, the passage of time inevitably brings clarity to the relationships we hold dear, and to those that, over time, become more like burdens than blessings. As we age, there is a slow and gradual awareness that not all relationships are meant to stand the test of time. Some individuals enter our lives under the guise of companionship, kindness, and warmth, but over time, they reveal themselves as something much different: energy vampires. These are the people who, while they may appear friendly and well-meaning at first, thrive on draining your emotional, mental, and physical energy, leaving you feeling utterly depleted, unfulfilled, and sometimes even emotionally empty. What begins as an innocent connection can slowly erode our sense of self and well-being, and the longer we allow it, the harder it becomes to reclaim the energy and vitality that once fueled our lives. Energy vampires are far from obvious. They don't wear capes or have fangs. They don't announce their draining intentions. Instead, they come into our lives quietly, often disguised as people in need of help, individuals who are just going through a tough time, or simply people who need a friend. In the beginning, it may even feel good to be the one they turn to. We feel validated by our ability to help others, offer our support, and share in the troubles of those we care about. The intention is pure, and our hearts are open and ready to give. But over time, the pattern starts to emerge. These people don't seem to be getting any better. Their problems persist, their emotional turmoil intensifies, and they continue to demand more and more of our time, attention, and resources. We try to be understanding, we try to offer solutions, but it feels as if nothing is ever enough. No matter how much we give, they are always hungry for more, never satisfied, always needing validation, always seeking more attention. What's worse is that energy vampires rarely, if ever, take responsibility for their struggles. They may acknowledge that they are going through something, but they never seem to do the necessary work to heal or grow. Instead, they look to you as a constant source of support, as their emotional outlet, and as their therapist. They never seem content, and it seems like their unhappiness is something you're expected to carry with them. They bring their complaints, their frustrations, and their negativity to your doorstep, expecting you to fix it, to soothe it, to carry it for them. But the burden becomes too heavy over time. You begin to notice the emotional exhaustion creeping in. What once felt like a small act of kindness, listening to a friend in need, now feels like an endless emotional chore, one that leaves you feeling worn out, emotionally drained, and perhaps even resentful. The insidious thing about energy vampires is how expertly they manipulate your emotions. They can make you feel guilty for not giving enough, for not being there when they need you, for not understanding them as deeply as they feel you should. They have an uncanny ability to make you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. Their problems seem to take center stage in your life, and slowly, you begin to neglect your own needs, your own goals, and your emotional well-being. They prey on your compassion, your sense of responsibility, and your desire to help others. But it becomes clear. No matter how much you sacrifice, no matter how much you give, you will never be able to fill the void that exists within them. They cannot be satisfied, and their happiness will always remain elusive. Over time, their negativity becomes a drain on your energy. You begin to feel yourself slipping into their emotional state, absorbing their sorrow, frustration, and dissatisfaction. Their emotions become your emotions, their struggles become your struggles, and before you know it, you find yourself emotionally exhausted. The energy that you used to have for your own life, the passion, the excitement, the joy, now seems to be used up, leaving you with nothing but a sense of emotional fatigue. And yet, you continue to give because you don't know how to stop. You think that if you just give a little more and try a little harder, things might change. But they don't. The cycle continues, and you feel like you are running on empty. The hard truth is that energy vampires are not only draining, they are manipulative. They rarely take ownership of their problems, and instead, they shift the responsibility onto you. They don't see their struggles as something they need to work through on their own. Instead, they view you as their emotional crutch, their sounding board, their punching bag. Their emotional baggage becomes yours, and suddenly, you're not only carrying your burdens but theirs as well. This is incredibly exhausting, and as we age, it becomes even more challenging to maintain the energy needed to carry such weight. The older we get, the more precious our energy becomes. Life demands more from us physically, mentally, and emotionally, and we simply cannot afford to keep pouring ourselves into relationships that drain us without reciprocation. What's even more painful is that energy vampires rarely acknowledge the toll they take on others. They never see the damage they cause because they are too consumed by their own needs. Their world revolves around them, and your exhaustion, your emotional depletion, is invisible to them. They continue to take, and the more they do, the more they seem to resent you for not being able to give enough. It's a toxic, never-ending cycle that you can't seem to break, and eventually, the emotional cost becomes too high to ignore. As we grow older, we begin to realize that our energy is a finite resource. No longer can we afford to waste it on relationships that are one-sided, draining, and emotionally taxing. Our time is precious, and our emotional well-being is too valuable to be depleted by those who cannot, or will not, take responsibility for their happiness. It becomes clear that the people we allow into our lives should lift us, not bring us down. The relationships that remain should be the ones that support us, that bring joy and light into our lives. The energy we invest in these relationships should nourish us, not leave us feeling empty and worn out. And with that realization comes a sense of empowerment. We have the right to protect our energy, to set boundaries, and to walk away from those who no longer serve us. Energy vampires are not always easy to spot, but with time, we learn to recognize the signs. We become more attuned to how we feel after spending time with certain individuals. Do we feel drained? Do we feel emotionally burdened? Do we feel like we've given so much and received so little in return? If the answer is yes, it's time to reassess that relationship. There's no shame in stepping away from a relationship that no longer serves you. There's no guilt in prioritizing your emotional health and well-being. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As we age, we come to understand that the relationships that matter most are the ones that bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. And those relationships, those that give as much as they take, are worth our time, our energy, and our love. The rest, we must learn to let go of. In doing so, we make space for the relationships that truly matter, those that will carry us through the later years of life with love, understanding, and mutual respect. 2. Manipulators. Manipulators are some of the most insidious and dangerous individuals you could encounter in life, and their effect on you can be deeply unsettling and long-lasting. Their manipulation is not always obvious at first, which makes it all the more harmful. They are experts at reading people and understanding their vulnerabilities, and they use that knowledge to control and exploit others for their benefit. It's an emotional game to them, one that's played with precision, often leaving you questioning your thoughts, feelings, and decisions. In the beginning, they appear caring, empathetic, and completely trustworthy. They might shower you with attention and affection, making you feel seen and valued as if they are the one person who truly understands you. They might even go so far as to show concern for your needs and desires, presenting themselves as the perfect friend, partner, or confidant. In these moments, it feels almost impossible to think that anything could be wrong because they know exactly how to make you feel comfortable and safe in their presence. But over time, once they've established trust, they slowly begin to introduce subtle manipulations into the relationship. You might not notice them at first, but these manipulative behaviors often grow over time. At their core, manipulators thrive on one thing: control. They want to dominate your emotions and decisions, pushing their own needs and desires ahead of yours with little to no regard for your well-being. The more they gain control over you, the more they demand. They may start asking for favors or making requests that seem innocent enough, but gradually, these requests grow larger and more unreasonable. You begin to feel like you have no choice but to give in because if you don't, the manipulator will make you feel guilty for not being there for them. They are brilliant at using guilt as a weapon. Phrases like, "If you loved me, you would," or "I thought you cared about me, but if you did, you'd help me with this," are like daggers aimed at your heart. They twist your emotions so skillfully that you start to doubt yourself, wondering if your love, your care, or your loyalty is enough. They might even invoke your past experiences, trying to make you feel like you're obligated to fulfill their needs, no matter how unreasonable. And it works. You feel guilty because they've made you feel as if you're somehow failing them, as if you should be doing more, giving more, sacrificing more, even when it means compromising your happiness or health. The manipulator's tactics are often so deeply ingrained that they can turn the tables on you, making it seem as though you're the one at fault. They may twist facts and change the narrative to suit their agenda, convincing you that you're the one causing problems in the relationship, or that you're the one who isn't doing enough. It can feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid of saying or doing something that might set them off. They become masters of rewriting reality, so much so that you start second-guessing your memories and perceptions. You may find yourself constantly apologizing for things you never did, or feeling responsible for situations that were entirely out of your control. This constant gaslighting, this twisting of reality, slowly starts to eat away at your sense of self. Over time, you begin to lose your confidence and trust in your instincts. You might feel as though you're going crazy, caught in an emotional web of confusion, doubt, and self-blame. The manipulator, knowing exactly how to push your buttons, makes it incredibly hard to assert your boundaries. They prey on your empathy and your desire to please, wearing you down little by little until you're no longer sure where their needs end and where yours begin. What makes manipulators so dangerous is that they know exactly how to identify your weaknesses and insecurities. Whether it's your fear of rejection, your desire to be loved, or your need to feel needed, they will zero in on these soft spots and exploit them without remorse. They don't offer anything genuine in return, only empty promises and false assurances that they care about you. The manipulator might even pretend to show concern or affection when it serves their purpose, but it is always calculated, always self-serving. They may express sorrow or guilt when their manipulation is exposed, but these emotions are fleeting and used to draw you back into their web. You give and give, but they never truly give back. There is no reciprocity, no real care for your happiness. Your emotional energy becomes a one-way street, with them taking more and more, leaving you drained and hollowed out. And the most heartbreaking part? The longer you stay in this dynamic, the more you feel like you're losing pieces of yourself. Your self-worth becomes entangled in their needs and demands. What started as a relationship built on trust and mutual respect slowly transformed into a cycle of emotional depletion and self-doubt. When you finally realize the extent of the manipulation, it's often too late. The emotional scars have already been left, and you may find yourself struggling to rebuild the boundaries that have been broken down over time. It's a painful process to heal from manipulation, but the first step is recognizing that you are not the one in the wrong. Manipulators thrive in environments where they can keep you in a constant state of confusion and guilt. Their success depends on your ability to keep second-guessing yourself and questioning your worth. Breaking free from their hold is difficult, but it is possible. The journey requires strength, self-reflection, and a deep commitment to reclaiming your boundaries and your sense of self. It's not easy, but once you start to recognize the manipulative behaviors for what they are, you begin to rebuild your confidence and take back control over your life. It's painful but necessary. Because at the end of the day, you deserve relationships that nourish, not deplete. You deserve to be valued and loved for who you are, not manipulated into becoming a tool to satisfy someone else's agenda. 3. Chronic critics. Chronic critics, whether they are family members, close friends, or even acquaintances, seem to have this uncanny ability to always find something wrong, to pick apart every little imperfection and flaw with precision. It's as if they have a sixth sense for discovering even the tiniest mistake, often in ways that are not only unnecessary but deeply hurtful. What's more frustrating is that this criticism comes at you from all angles, making you feel like you can't escape it. Every time you think you're doing well, there they are, ready to remind you of what you're doing wrong. It's almost as if, no matter how hard you try to improve, no matter how much effort you put into bettering yourself, they will always find something to criticize. It's important to understand that this kind of behavior isn't truly about you, it's about them. Chronic critics are often trapped in their insecurities, frustrations, and desperate need to exert control. Deep down, they are grappling with their issues and their feelings of inadequacy, and somehow, bringing others down makes them feel better. They want to control how you see yourself, to project their limitations onto you, and in doing so, they can't bear to see you feel empowered or confident. It's as if your successes make their failures more glaring, and instead of being happy for you, they choose to attack. The most painful part is that no matter how much time, energy, and love you pour into yourself, into your personal growth, or into achieving something meaningful, these critics are relentless. They never take a moment to pause and reflect on the positive strides they've made. Instead, they are quick to dismiss your achievements, downplay your successes, or offer backhanded compliments that leave you feeling unappreciated. You could tell them about a milestone you've reached, and rather than celebrating it with you, they find a way to diminish it. They make you feel like your accomplishments are just small steps in a much larger, never-ending journey of failure. You begin to wonder, am I doing enough? Or worse, am I enough? And that's where the real damage begins. Over time, this continuous onslaught of criticism wears down your confidence and chips away at your self-esteem. It doesn't happen overnight, but gradually, you start questioning your abilities, your decisions, and your worth. The more you hear those negative comments, the more you internalize them. They become voices in your head that echo through your thoughts, convincing you that you're not good enough and that you're always falling short. Even when you have moments of clarity and recognize your worth, those voices keep coming back, louder than ever. It's a constant struggle to maintain your self-belief when you're surrounded by people who seem determined to tear you down. I've seen it happen, more times than I'd like to admit. Friends, family members, and even strangers have this power to make you feel as though your entire being is defined by their judgment. They see only the flaws, never the progress. They choose to focus on what could go wrong rather than appreciating the beauty in what you've done right. It leaves you feeling broken, vulnerable, and uncertain. And what's worse, You begin to wonder whether this constant criticism is somehow deserved, whether there is something wrong with you that they can so easily identify. The truth is, we all deserve better than this. We deserve to be surrounded by people who lift us, who celebrate our successes, and who, at the very least, acknowledge the hard work we've put into becoming better versions of ourselves. It's crucial to recognize this toxic pattern before it consumes you completely. Constant criticism is a poison that seeps into your soul, eroding your sense of self-worth and making it harder to find joy in your journey. You begin to shrink, to doubt yourself, to hide your light out of fear of being judged. But here's what I've learned. You are enough. No matter how much they criticize, no matter how many times they downplay your victories, you are enough. Don't let their words define you. It's important to stand firm in your worth and to seek out the people who remind you of your value and who celebrate you for who you are, your flaws and all. Don't let the chronic critics take away the beauty of your journey. Your growth, your happiness, and your worth are not for them to dictate. And if you need to distance yourself from those who tear you down, then do so with peace in your heart, knowing that the path to self-love and acceptance is one worth walking. 4. Negative Nancy family members. Certain family members seem to carry an ever-present cloud of negativity, and no matter how hard you try to escape it, their energy always manages to seep into your life. These individuals seem to be permanently stuck in a mindset of complaints, doubts, and a relentless sense of pessimism that they can't, or won't, shake off. Instead of feeling like a source of comfort or support, their presence becomes an emotional burden, a constant reminder that life is full of hardships, challenges, and disappointments. It's almost as if they view the world through a lens that only captures the dark side of everything, leaving little room for light or hope to shine through. These negative family members have this uncanny ability to take any situation, no matter how positive or exciting, and twist it into something that fits their narrative of doom. When you share your achievements, milestones, or any new opportunities with them, instead of offering words of encouragement or congratulations, they brush it off or belittle it. It's as though they can't bear to see others experiencing joy or success without immediately deflating it with their cynicism. They'll downplay the significance of your accomplishments, make you feel as though they are meaningless, or throw out discouraging remarks that cut deeper than they may realize. It's an incredibly painful experience, as if the excitement you once felt about your journey is quietly siphoned away in their presence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What's worse, they don't just stop at dismissing your successes, they often plant seeds of doubt. Their words can echo in your mind long after the conversation has ended, leaving you questioning your own decisions, your self-worth, and whether you are truly capable of achieving your goals. It's like they possess an almost supernatural power to feed off fear and cynicism, and they use it to undermine your confidence with chilling ease. No matter how hard you try to maintain a sense of positivity or optimism, they always seem to find a way to counteract it. When you're filled with hope, their negativity works like poison, slowly eroding your spirit and filling you with a sense of dread. Their perspective on life is often limited to the worst-case scenario. Rather than offering any solutions or encouraging words, they gravitate toward focusing on problems and barriers, convincing you that everything will eventually fall apart. They'll point out the flaws, the risks, and the potential pitfalls, but rarely, if ever, offer any advice on how to navigate those obstacles. It's not about offering support or guidance, it's about reinforcing their view that things will inevitably go wrong. They thrive in the shadow of fear and uncertainty, and their vision of the world seems to revolve around a perpetual sense of impending doom. For those around them, this is emotionally draining. Trying to maintain any semblance of joy or confidence in their presence can feel like fighting an endless battle. It's like constantly trying to stay afloat in an ocean of negativity, only for their words to drag you down each time you begin to rise. The emotional toll they take can be immense, leaving you exhausted, depleted, and questioning yourself more often than you'd like to admit. You start to wonder if their doubts are justified, if you've missed something important, or if your aspirations are, in fact, unrealistic. This kind of relationship can lead to feelings of isolation. You may begin to keep your successes, joys, and new ventures to yourself, not wanting to subject them to the cold, critical eyes of someone who never seems capable of celebrating your happiness. The frustration of having your energy drained by someone who refuses to believe in your potential can leave you feeling alone, misunderstood, and emotionally disconnected from the very family members you should feel closest to. The result is a constant cycle of self-doubt, confusion, and internal conflict. The more you try to share the positive aspects of your life, the more they seem to chip away at your confidence, leaving you wondering if you're fooling yourself, or worse, if you're truly incapable of reaching your dreams. What makes this all the more painful is that their negativity often comes without a solution. They rarely, if ever, offer a path forward or encouragement to overcome the hurdles they so eagerly point out. It's as though they are comfortable in their limitations, content to criticize without ever striving to lift anyone else. This can leave you feeling stuck, as though there is no way to move forward without being pulled back down by their endless skepticism. The impact of such negativity isn't just limited to how you feel in the moment. It can linger, taking root in your mind and heart long after you've parted ways with them. Their words, their doubts, and their cynicism have the power to reshape your outlook on life, leaving you uncertain and hesitant about the future. And no matter how hard you try to push forward, they remain a constant shadow in the background, ready to pounce on any glimmer of hope you dare to hold on to. It's a sad, often destructive cycle, one that leaves you questioning whether the love and connection you share with these family members is worth the emotional toll it takes on you. Dealing with negative family members can feel like a never-ending emotional drain, and it can be difficult to break free from their grip on your thoughts and feelings. You may find yourself desperately trying to hold onto your dreams and your sense of worth, only to be pushed further away from them with each encounter. It's a painful experience, one that can leave you wondering if there's ever a way to bridge the gap between their darkness and your light. 5. Drama creators. Drama creators are individuals who seem to thrive on chaos and conflict, almost as if their very identity depends on the emotional turmoil that swirls around them. There is something deeply unsettling about how they seem to crave instability, whether it's in their relationships, emotions, or social dynamics. They feel an intense need to stir up trouble, as though without it, their lives would lose meaning or significance. These individuals often seek out and create chaos in the most mundane of situations, transforming even a minor disagreement into a catastrophic event that consumes everything around them. The constant drama they generate becomes their lifeblood. It is how they maintain a sense of purpose, control, and attention in a world that otherwise might seem dull and uneventful. What's particularly frustrating about drama creators is their ability to make everything about them, no matter how irrelevant or trivial the situation may be. They are masters at turning normal moments into high-stakes crises that demand the attention and emotional energy of everyone involved. It's almost as if they need the turmoil to feel alive. Without it, they feel insignificant or powerless, like they are disappearing into the background of their own lives. So, they feed off the emotional energy of others, pulling them into the storm they've created, and ensuring they remain at the center of every conversation or conflict. One of the most manipulative aspects of drama creators is how they twist facts, omit key details, and even go as far as to fabricate entire stories. They are incredibly skilled at weaving a narrative that places them in either the role of the helpless victim or the heroic savior, depending on what best serves their need for attention and control. It's almost like they become so entrenched in their own stories that the truth no longer matters to them. They will lie, distort, and bend the truth until it aligns with the version of events that suits them, all while convincing others to believe their narrative without question. This creates a toxic atmosphere where everyone around them is forced to play along, whether they want to or not. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What's more insidious is their ability to manipulate the emotions of those closest to them. Drama creators often know exactly how to make you feel guilty for not engaging in their chaos or for not taking their side. If you don't become involved in their melodrama, they will make you feel like you're abandoning them, like you're not showing the proper care and concern. This guilt trip becomes a weapon, forcing people to either participate in their conflicts or risk being painted as uncaring or unsympathetic. It's a kind of emotional blackmail that is hard to escape from because it preys on the empathy and kindness of others. The emotional volatility that drama creators bring into any situation is staggering. It's not just that they are prone to unpredictable outbursts or emotional reactions. It's that they refuse to take responsibility for their actions or the consequences of their behavior. They will blame others for everything that goes wrong, never owning up to their part in the drama they've created. This lack of accountability makes it incredibly difficult to engage with them in a healthy, productive way. You might find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid the next eruption or emotional meltdown. But no matter how hard you try to keep the peace, they keep dragging you back into the mess. Being around a drama creator can leave you feeling mentally and emotionally drained in ways you never anticipated. It's like living in a constant state of heightened alert, never knowing when the next emotional storm will hit. The energy it takes to navigate their emotional instability is exhausting. After a while, you may start to feel like you're losing pieces of yourself, your patience, your empathy, and your peace of mind, because all of it is being siphoned off by the chaos they so desperately need to maintain. Every conversation becomes a potential crisis, every interaction laced with the possibility of another emotional blow-up. And even though you try to distance yourself, they manage to pull you back into their world with their charm, their manipulation, or their guilt. From my personal experience, dealing with a drama creator is an emotional roller coaster that leaves you feeling both physically and mentally exhausted. It's one thing to care for someone, to try to support them through their struggles, but when that person continuously drags you into their self-created chaos, it becomes clear that they are not looking for help, they are simply looking for an audience. They want someone to mirror their emotional turmoil, to validate their constant need for conflict. It's not about resolution or healing. It's about maintaining a sense of power and control over others. I've learned that the best thing you can do is to recognize the pattern, acknowledge the toll it takes on you, and then make a firm decision to step away before it consumes you. It may feel hard, especially if you've invested time and energy in trying to help, but ultimately, your emotional well-being must come first. Because when you're constantly in the eye of someone else's storm, you lose sight of your peace, and that's a price too high to pay. As we wrap up today's discussion, I hope you've gained valuable insights into the complex dynamics of dealing with drama creators and how their constant need for conflict can affect your emotional well-being. It's not always easy to recognize these patterns, but once you do, it becomes much easier to protect your peace and set healthy boundaries. So, what have you learned so far? Is there one thing in particular that you will bring into practice in your life moving forward? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share your insights and experiences in the comments below this video. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means the world, and together, we can keep growing and learning. Thank you for watching.